Thank you, and you're not leaving that for me, no? When I was asked to come and say a few words about social media at this event, I thought to myself, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I think I'm on Google+. I don't really blog enough, but I do some regular updates, like web updates on wine website, because I am a wine taster. So I thought, yeah, I can talk about social media. Little did I know, I'm quite used to talking in front of people because I do lots of wine events, but normally I have a glass in my hand, and I tell you that's much easier than doing this morning. Also, I know that subject much better. But I thought, you know what I'll do is I'll really think about it, I'll plan this. So I started writing last week. Had really good ideas about how I wanted to convey this message that I wanted to convey, about how social media and the internet is changing the world of wine and how we communicate about wine, because that's really what's happening. So best laid plans. I was on Twitter yesterday and I saw a tweet from a gentleman called Rob McIntosh, and he is known in the trade as Thirst for Wine. He is one of my blogger contacts, if you like, down in London, and he tweeted that he was in Glasgow and in need of someone to drink wine with. So I volunteered, together with one of my other blogger pals. And well, what happened was we ended up at Café Gandolfi and we had a bit too much wine. And we weren't tasting, we were drinking, of course. So we started talking about wine and social media, and they completely changed my mind about what I wanted to say. So I think it was around about 12:53 this morning that I looked at the clock and thought to myself, I'm still writing this. So my first tip in using social media is actually really simple. It is not your ability to plan, but in your ability to adapt that you see the master. So adaptation, I think, is really important. This is a continuously moving medium. You cannot go down. Yes, of course you can plan, and of course you need some sort of strategy. But if you stick rigorously to it, then you're in danger of losing out on some of the real key messages that social media is about. It's incredibly fast moving. It's great fun. And I think if you're able to adapt to that, then you can really make it work for you. So that was my first tip, be able to adapt. This goes for general business as well, I suppose, as I've found out over the last few years. But secondly, we started then talking about influence. And actually, the way wine is sold, in the olden days there was a lot of writing in newspapers, with columns like that, and we see more and more of that going online, and there's been a real explosion of the amount of wine blogs in particular. I don't know why people like writing about wine, because it must be because of the subject matter, and it's a good excuse to open a bottle, I suppose, so that you can write about it again. But there was one thing that when we started talking last night came up again, and this was something that Rob mentioned, and he basically said, look, there was a point where he gave someone a suggestion for a particular wine, and he blogged about it, and the person ended up buying the wine. And we thought that's a real success for social media, because we've sold a bottle on social media. However, that was never really measured, because the measurement of that goes to the shop rather than the social media as such. Twitter doesn't have a buy button. So for me, it's brands need to try and focus on this message of inclusion, of being able to talk people's language, to engage perhaps with bloggers, with the consumer. And it's an eternal search in the wine industry at the moment to try and find that engagement with a consumer. And I think to that effect, I don't know if anyone's seen the news, maybe it's not really that big news for most of you here, but actually when I saw it yesterday I was quite surprised. And Diageo have just given Facebook somewhere in the region of $10 million to get access to early features on Facebook, and essentially for Facebook to help Diageo to be at the forefront of social media and to make their campaigns, you know, fully social, if you like. And I think it's an interesting development. I'm really not entirely sure what I think about it at this point in time, because I often think that smaller companies kind of get it sooner than the bigger companies, but I may be completely wrong. But I think what it is showing is that the big boys are now starting to take social media very seriously. So I don't think it's one of those things that will go away. I think it will stay with us for a while. And if it does, then, you know, that's absolutely fine, because, you know, perhaps every now and then I receive another tweet and it gives me another excuse to go out and open a bottle of wine. So for me, to sum up, I think social media is something that is very flexible, very much moving, and you need to keep that flexibility to make it work for you. You need to find your own style. You need to keep it personal, because I think if you make it too corporate, people are going to switch off from the corporate message. As I said, Twitter doesn't have a buy button, but once people know that you're genuine, they're much more likely to engage with you, and ultimately those people, they will start to buy from you if they feel the need to do so. And that's my message, I suppose. So keep it flexible, but keep it personal as well. And thank you very much.